Tarikatun är sohba hayrun för jamia. We ask the saints, our Grand Sheikh, for support, spiritual support. May Allah not let us speak from our ego. Say, O Muhammad, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, O Allah, don't let me from a moment of a blink of an eye to fall to my ego. If he lets his most beloved in the divine presence recommends him to say that, then what are we supposed to say? And without a doubt, Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam doesn't need that, but he shows us how to do it, so that we can say the Prophet did it himself. Otherwise, we would say he didn't do it himself. And we follow tradition, and then it would have been a false tradition. Everything has its wisdom. With us Turks, they say, my sister, I'm telling it to you, but actually my sister-in-law is meant to listen, to hear it. What else am I supposed to say? The wisdoms of the heavens, the wisdoms of God are endlessly deep. You don't need to understand everything what the great are doing. You need to accept, respect, and follow their recommendations and guidance, but never try to understand them, because it's not easy to understand the great. Why not? Because you're small, that's why. They're great, you're small. How could you ever try to understand the great, my brother? My brother always wants to understand the great. You can understand them once you've turned great yourself, once you've entered their realm, their station. Every being has its station. Every has its own station. Everything is moving on its own level station that it can bear to and that it can understand. That's why there are so many different paths of faith, of belief. Allah says, I could have created one path, but I didn't, because that one path that everybody can understand, it's not easy. So for everybody, for different kind of mind and level of understanding, I created a path of belief. So how does it start? With atheism. It's also a belief system. It's a false belief, but it's a belief. Everything is moving in the realm of belief. That's the lowest level of belief. And then, so that's atheism. This is the level of a baby, because the baby, a baby of 1 year old, a child that's only 1 year, 2-year-old child, they are not believers. babies who are babies of 1 or 2 years old are the believers. What else are they supposed to believe in? They have no belief. They don't have the mind for that. They have no understanding, no consciousness for that. Small children, they don't have a belief. That's where they need to be guided. They're being guided into the belief by the parents, by the adults. The grown-ups are the first ones to guide them. So, in the land of the Buddhists, all children turn into Buddhists first. In the land of the Hindus, all children are Hindus first. In the land of the atheists, all children turn into atheists. In the land of the Muslims, all children turn into Muslims. In the land of the Christians, all children are going to be Christians. In the land of the Jews, all children will become Jews. Is that true, my brother? Yes, that's the truth. Because they're being guided by their parents who are guided into its faith, into their faith as a start. May it be false or right, doesn't matter. That's the first destination. That's the first belief. And then they either keep it or they leave it. Depending on level of understanding and consciousness and the search for truth and the urge to find the truth, then you keep on moving while you are in that first level of belief, that first belief system. And that's why the Lord and many, they don't have that understanding or inside that belief system. They get a certain taste and they stay as they're looking for a certain taste, and they're looking for that taste if it is according to how they like it, they stay. Or they're looking for a religion and a belief system according to their own taste, but it's not about taste. A belief system, it's not in a space of taste, like or like it not. The truth is bitter at first. Once you found it, then everything will be sweet. But in the beginning it's bitter, and many people these days are looking for a religion that suits their taste. And they play with belief. They invent new directions of belief systems, esoteric ones, esoteric, and they steal from here and there, and they steal from the truth, from the path of truth. They steal just a base or something from its core on which they build on. And in the beginning there's always La ilaha illallah, and they need to say that La ilaha illallah, 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 illallah. everywhere. They don't believe in prophets. They have no heavenly direction. But they let their students, they let them sing La ilaha illallah, because the people need, the students need something to hold on to that only works with a certain power, strength, with their own invented belief system. They can't hold on to anything. They need to take something that has power itself. They don't believe in God, they don't believe in the unity of God, but they use that certain weapon, La ilaha illallah. And they take that and everything else, they create everything as they design everything according to their taste. And that self-invented belief system made easy to get as many students as possible. But still on the foundation of truth, because otherwise on water you can't write anywhere. La ilaha illallah. You can believe in that. And the blessing of La ilaha illallah is attracting those people. And that's why on the wrong path of Shaitan can keep them people, because he's using the power of the truth. But Allah gives him permission to do so, because it's a trial. And it's an act of mercy for them to have at least one kind of belief, may it be false or right, but secretly through wrong hands they get the true weapon, La ilaha illallah. They don't pray like us, but they chant the right thing, and they get their strength from that zikr, from that word, from that phrase, La ilaha illallah. May the innocent, those who got seduced or badly guided, that wrongly guided, that follow wrong words, but went with good intentions, may Allah guide them well. I saw many of those people, so many beautiful faces, but on the wrong path. They have good intentions, but they follow the wrong locomotive. The wisdoms of Allah are endlessly deep. We believe those who have good in the heart and the good intention and the right intention, and the good intention, they will always get to his goal and to the right one, but even maybe on the wrong path. And so they let us speak, maybe pray for those people that were misguided by Satan or by their ego and were led onto wrong paths, that they shall be guided rightly. Oh Allah, please guide them right, and send your light and your pictures of light to them, so that they shall find to the truth and shall find to the right path, inshallah. If you truly want to take the path of truth, then you have to follow his messengers without any rebellion, without any opposition, without any question. Moses ﷺ said, "O Allah, you gave me so much knowledge, and I look to the right. This kind of knowledge, nobody has it. To the left, nobody's got this kind of knowledge. So am I the only one who's got this kind of knowledge?" And then what did the Lord said? You thought, but you're wrong. O Musa alayhi salam, Don't be so arrogant. You've been given knowledge by me, but don't be so arrogant, because there's someone who knows more than you do. I want to get him to know him. I want to have a taste of his knowledge and make use of it. Make use of it. And then he went on, then go on your path, go on your way, and take a fish with you into your bag, and where the fish is trying to getting out and becomes alive again, then you're on the right path. So he went together with his young disciple that turned to become the next prophet, Yusha alayhi salam. And they went on and on and on. And then they reached the shore of an ocean, and Yusha, the young, had been catching a fish and put it into the bag, and then they kept on going and moving. And then the fish suddenly turned alive, and as we're making this story short, and Musa alayhi salam met someone weird person, and he was sitting there. Salam alaikum, alaikum salam. They interchanged. Musa, you are late. I'm the one that you were supposed to meet. It was the Green George, or Khizr alayhi salam. You want to take something from my knowledge, then we need to go on a journey. On a journey, and this kind of journey is a sign, a symbol, or a metaphorical phrase. Once you made a connection with the Sheikh, and from that moment on, you're on a journey with him. Even if you haven't moved an inch from your spot, but your soul is moving on. And it cannot be that the Sheikh is standing still. He's going through all the stations, endless stations, and he takes you along. But how? Only if you don't ask any questions. If you don't say why, how come, and so on. If you don't have any opposition, don't rebel. Oh Moses, we have to go on a journey with you. Oh sure, I'm loving it. It's not written like that in the Quran, but that's how it went. But there's one condition. Ask no questions. I don't like questions. Wake up. I won't do it, he said. No matter what you see weird and crazy stuff, don't ask a question. Here you don't get the permission to ask, and you only get the answers. Now or later, but you will get answers, but don't ask questions. And if you're gonna ask, or even question me, our journey will come to an end. This is actually it is the story from between Musa alayhi salam and Khidr alayhi salam explains something to us and tells us if you're in Tariqa, the spiritual school, it explains the relation between a student and a teacher, because this story is about two great prophets. Musa alayhi salam one of the 5 great prophets that actually got a book, the law, Sharia, as Sharia came with him, and then it got completed with Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And one of them is a prophet of the scripture. He's got the knowledge of the script, which is Sharia, and the other one's got the knowledge of Sharia and of Tariqat, which means knowledge of Tariqat is wisdom, and Sharia knowledge is the knowledge of God's wishes. One is the wishes of God, and the other one is the knowledge of God. And those who only come with knowledge won't ever understand wisdom. That's why scholars and Sheikh, they haven't understood Mashaykh. They didn't understand the words and phrases. There was always an argument between script scholars and spiritual masters, Sheikhs from the Tariqat school. And that is what happened there in the beginning between Musa alayhi salam and Khizr alayhi salam. Khizr alayhi salam, a prophet and one of our grand sheikhs. He is one of the grand sheikhs in our golden table, and he's got the knowledge of Tariqat. Leil Medun means the secret wisdom, the secret knowledge. Don't ask one question. And he was lecturing Musa alayhi salam. Khizr alayhi salam didn't get any book to bring. A prophet that got a book is a great, great prophet, but still, see, Khizr alayhi salam with such a knowledge was not appointed for that great book to come. They have been asked to be for something more special, maybe beyond the book. You don't ask, and if you ask, our paths will become different. So no opposition, no distrust against any actions of mine, which means complete trust. This is where do we tell you? Because this is a very known story. Everybody who read the Quran will have met that good and weird story. It's about the wisdom that is hidden inside, as it explains to us the difference between a student and a sheikh and a student, and how it should be. It's not good. Even with Musa alayhi salam, it didn't turn out well. He's not a good student, astaghfirullah. Such a great prophet, but inattentiveness. But he had such a great knowledge about Sharia and justice, and was so fixated onto the justice of God that he couldn't see beyond that, because weird things were happening, and which are beyond their understanding, even on his level of understanding. No questions. If there is a question or a question behind the question in your nails, and with someone who's got distrust in my actions, I don't want them to accompany me anymore. Then you can leave immediately, because your heart is being sealed, and you're stealing your heart against me because you think I might do something wrong. So we can interpret it in so many different ways, and the way they give to us, I can do that, no problem. But then they say, oh, I'm talking too much. One piece of understanding. And Musa said, brother, I will do as you wish it. I won't ask any questions. And then, boom, the first event, they are on a ship. And Musa couldn't take it. And then he asked Khizr alayhi salam, why did you do it like that? And the captain, we didn't have any money, and then the captain took us over, made us cross the river for free. And then you're going to destroy it? What kind of... What ungratefulness is that? That's not just. The other person, they helped us, and then we are destroying his ship. Musa alayhi salam, what did I tell you? Shut up. We can speak English, which means shut up, silence. And the prophets can even speak the language of the birds, any language. Be careful, he said. Oh, Musa, then, I'm sorry, okay. In his mind, it was starting and moving and moving and moving. Why is that? What happened? How has it been? What kind of a human being is that? Why is he doing that? And then eventually they land up it's on the countryside. Nobody wants to take them in as guests of God and welcome them and say, and then someone says, well, you can sleep with us, and then Khizr alayhi salam kills the little boy of that family. And then Musa was asked, why did you do that? They took us in, they gave us a bed and bread and so on. And that's your gratitude for that? Musa, why did you do that? Khizr's answer, you have distrusted me. What did I tell you? What was the deal? But that was really, really weird what you did. And then another story. And Musa couldn't take it and couldn't understand it. And couldn't wait, couldn't bear all those weird actions of Khizr alayhi salam, who is his guide and companion. And when it happened a third time, when again he was rebelling and protesting and why he did it, and what kind of a human are you, so ungrateful? What's the reason? So you're asking for the reason. That's no manner. I told you. You are a prophet. You left manner. Your good manners. You're not supposed to ask me. I told you. So our path together, our journey together will end here. 3 strikes. With 3 questions, I was being patient, but from now on, there is no more strike. 3 strikes you were allowed to make, but from here on, it's over. You ask for a reason, and this is the reason. And then he starts explaining the wisdom behind his actions. This is the thing where you can't see any good manners, and you believe you lost the ground of good manners. Such actions, it seemed, astaghfirullah. As Musa asked from his sheikh an excuse, an explanation, because on that journey, Khizr alayhi salam was Musa alayhi salam's sheikh. Why? Because the one who's guiding is the sheikh. If there are 2 of you going on a journey, Sayyidina Muhammad once said, even if it means from one village to the next village, from Eigeltingen-Reute, may the one be the guide. So even if it's a short trip, they are the sheikh. he shall have the word and tell us where to go. Let yourself be guided and follow without question. Otherwise, there's going to be an argument. No matter what, someone has to be the boss. And in that moment, actually, when Musa was accepting the deal, as it opens a new way of understanding and we get new information about it. In this moment, when he asked a promise from Musa alayhi salam, follow me without any questions, and then I will give you from my knowledge, from my wisdom, from my treasure, I will give as well, as you ask for it. I will give you a part of my secret, but follow me with no questions asked. Be patient. And Musa said, I will follow you without questions asked, no matter what. That actually is a community he went into with Sheikh Eşref Efendi. This is a new opening of our Grand Sheikh, because he actually, Musa got taught tariqat by Eşref Efendi. But he was not a good student, astaghfirullah. Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam, he told that story about Musa alayhi salam and Khizr alayhi salam and said, my brother Musa, if you wouldn't have asked so many questions, if you only would have let it happen, we could have gotten even more beautiful stories of journey with Khizr alayhi salam. We could have listened to them. So sad that he wasn't that patient. Sayyidina Muhammad once said. Otherwise, he was really interested in the journey and Khizr and Musa and so on. Oh, it's sad that he wasn't that patient. Otherwise, this journey would have continued and we could have experienced all different kinds of stories. And he was sad. And failure as a student and in companionship. And looking back, Musa, through the grace of God and through the questions of God, because Khizr alayhi salam promised him, he took him in his hands, and that was enough, even if he doesn't listen. But this story is only for us. What happened later, Allah only knows. And those who are the prophets, but they only open up so much because they already got tariqat, and that kind of knowledge he got as well. And Khizr alayhi salam is one of our teachers and sheikh in our golden chain of the Holy Naqshbandiyya. They brought so many secrets with them, and they don't want to keep them for themselves. They want to teach us and guide us better, but we shouldn't have any doubts in them, doubts in their actions, of the images that we can see, and they shouldn't get stuck in the pictures that we are being shown, as those pictures are fake, and we are no experts in pictures. If we once, I'm standing in front of, it's how much does it cost? How many cents does it work? Cents. I never would have thought that this would be this heavy. I never would have entered that contract. But what are $100 million? Oh, Sheikh, you have got no understanding of art. This is an area we don't have any idea what's happening, and we need to learn. And you say you've studied art, and art needs to be studied, and that for you to got the chance to prepare it, and someone has to teach you in some kind of a university, in a spiritual order. The Rabbaniyya is the university. But there's only one condition. Don't ask a sheikh. My grand sheikh Maulana Sheikh Nazim said 30 years ago, I asked him, can I ask you something? He said, no. And then he told me to look into my heart. I will tell you in your heart. I'm one of those who are good enough, because we always got the answers. Alhamdulillah wa shukrullah. And you just need to surrender yourself to someone, and then you should never trust their pieces, because it often so happened that those who are true sheikh, and they have to park in places where they aren't supposed to park. You can't accept it, and you can't understand it, and that's why. And you can only do that when you trust. You need to have trust. But if I follow the wrong one, have trust. Not only into yourself, but trust in Allah. If you're truly good intentions, are clean in your heart, with all your intentions in your heart, no Satan, even if Satan itself would have been your teacher for 40 years, in the end, Maulana Sheikh Nazim says, and this one stays a shaitan after 30 years, but with you, there is a chance of you to becoming a saint, so don't worry. Just in Allah. And truly to ask sincerely for the truth. And that is why on this path of God, trust is everything, without a doubt. And Musa, he had doubts, and within those questions, he asked, what are you doing? He lost his faith. If he wouldn't have lost his trust, he never would have asked those questions. Isn't that logical, my brother, or is that too high, this kind of explanation? That's enough, he says. May Musa alayhi salam, may Sayyidina Musa forgive us. But I visited his grave 3 times, and I spent a night there. And once I did a practice tree. And then, okay, if we don't want to, otherwise, Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And inshallah, we will meet him. And we actually talk about that one, and the following. And if we say, if we've lost the limits of good manners, but this is the truth. This is the explanation of the story between Khidr alayhi salam and Musa alayhi salam. One of them was the sheikh of the 2 of them, and the other one was the grand sheikh. And Musa alayhi salam wanted to learn from him, and so we follow along to learn and get into subjects of students. Those who are still fighting haven't got any troubles, and that's for us to understand. This is an explanation for us how to be, how to behave, for us to understand better. But if Sheikh, even a great prophet like Musa alayhi salam, couldn't become a good student and a true, sincere and a loyal student, then how are we supposed to get there? So for you need to learn from those stories. He had such a background story, never heard of before, And he had the opportunity what we have now, but back then he didn't. That's why he's innocent. But us, we listen to the stories, even through the prophets themselves, and got a certain type of way to act. And now we have to bear the responsibility, because above they tell us how to be with the things that they do right or wrong. They've got no problem with that, because eventually they have to help us and support us to be good students to us. And Abdul Qadir Gailani, a great Sufi master, the boss of the Qadiri order, may his Shefa be with us later. And our grandchildren once said, and in the moment you are being called at birth, you are there again. And may he be welcome and be supported. And we are getting up because they're here. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. There once was an old lady, a very old, maybe 80 years old back then, and he had 2 orphans to feed, a daughter, and as the son-in-law and the daughter died, and those 2 kids were left, and they were entrusted to him by God, Allah. And in that age, in that very difficult age, he had to take care of those children, that they had enough to eat and so on. So out of the wool of the sheep, she made a robe. The old woman did. And he made a sailor's robe. And it's an explanation. And it's an explanation in German. It's called Tau, but it's actually a sailor's robe. And she about 600 meter long ropes, and wanted to sell it on the bazaar for her then to buy some groceries. And finally, she was done with all the work and went outside on her way to the market and was carrying that very heavy rope. And when she was about from the opposite side, Abdul Qadir Gailani came with his students, and he was walking towards her. And he saw how that old lady was carrying that heavy burden, and she was even limping a bit. And he told one of his students, support her, help her. And one of the students went and took the ropes. Assalamu alaikum, alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Oh, old lady, what are you doing with these heavy ropes? You can't carry them yourself. You can't even carry your own weight. How could it be for those 2? And then she was crying so badly and said, I have to go to the market and have to sell this so that our children have enough food. Sheikh, he's looking at her. Your student, give me your medal, whatever you have in your hand. And then you throw everything into the air. In the way he was while he was throwing that rope up in the heaven, and that rope was flying, and suddenly a very, very big fish, a bird, came and was taking that rope and flew away. And the woman was like, oh Allah, what did you do, Sheikh? I lost everything, my works of month gone. What else am I supposed to feed my children? You took all of it and ruined my life, and started to complain. And the sheikh said, woman, don't worry. Here you've got a few coins, buy some bread and so on, and wait. I will pay you for what this is worth. So wait, I will tell you then when it's time. 3 days were gone and no news from the sheikh, and the woman gets impatient because she wants to get her money. She goes to the dargah, is knocking on, and goes inside, and sheikh is in the middle of a sohbet speech. Oh sheikh, you promised me, but you didn't send me any news, so I'm here now. Where's my money? Oh good woman, I didn't understand, didn't forget you. But stay a little bit patient, because I'm waiting for something. You will get your money. Sheikh, how much longer? I have to buy groceries because everybody's hungry. Go and I will tell you later. And on the next day the lady comes back again. Oh Sheikh, where's my money? I'm still waiting for your money. Please be patient. And the woman is like, oh my goodness. Is very sad and angry and goes back home. And then she comes back again. Oh Sheikh, I want to have my money. And you took away my product and let it be flown away by the bird. See, woman, look, be patient. I will give you your money. And in that moment, a student comes. Oh master, it has there are 3 businessmen that want to see you. They are non-Muslims. Let them come in. And to the woman he said, all that you are expecting, all that you were asking for has arrived yet. And those 3 businessmen came in and say, surely you are the one that we saw. Where have you seen me? We are businessmen, and we were sailing on a commercial ship through the ocean to different islands, and then a storm came up, a really, really bad one, and took our ropes and split it in 2, and then we were almost ready to drown. And then we said, whoever is responsible, whatever spiritual power is responsible, please come and help us. And then a face happened and took the ship in its hands until the storm has faded. But we couldn't keep on sailing because we didn't have any rope. And then suddenly there was a bird and threw down this different rope, and then we could all tie it up, and that's all we needed to do. And then we thought, and once we've entered the room, and the most holy person in the country, please tell us who that is, and we want to pay him. Those businessmen said, and surely we saw a face. You are the one who helped us, they said to Abdul Qadir Gilani. And the master also said, I sent you the bird as well. And they said, this is our present to you, 100 coins. More money than any of the house. And they went on, and Sheikh said, and you too, here, woman, here is your profit. It's 10 times, 100 times more than what you wanted to ask for, because you've been so patient with us. And so now go on your way until all your patients have grown up. This is a true story. What is she telling us now? You have to be patient with the Lord and with the Sheikh, because he's got numerous patience with you, and you should at least have one piece of patience with him. No doubt, no distrust, just trust him. If he says wait, you have to wait. When he says move, you move. Stand still, you have to stand still. These are our guidance. And for our work for the Lord and the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He is, O Muhammad, without a doubt. We send you at the act of mercy for all of creation. And he is a representative, and the Sheikh is a representative of the oceans of mercy of the Lord. A representative of the Prophet, his name is also inside this holy ayat. And Rahmatan lil Alameen is a title our Grand Sheikh has as well. And he took it over with him. He is the heir of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Sheikh Sultan. So how can you be doubtful of his actions if you found a true Sheikh? You are not allowed to distrust him and to doubt him, as murids are being tested, and that's what happened. You can't be an art expert without being put to trial if you are correct or not. You can't be nothing without having done a trial. Only once you've completed that you can call yourself that. Don't ask what happened. Be patient. Oh woman, because you were so patient, here is your reward. With elderly people, you are more patient with them. And with our sister, she's hiding, and we are also patient with her. Just like small children, elderly people also can mistreat a little bit without being punished. And that endlessly deep is our Lord, and this is the path of the Sheikh. It's also very hard to understand the actions of the Sheikh, and the recommendations of the Sheikh may seem different. Most of the case, and all of those 99.9% it is against our ego. It is against our acceptance. But this is a trial. Because you want to have immediately from you, and he wants to see your loyalty. He wants something in return. He wants your trust. And you can get so much as you're willing to give. So what do you give? How much trust do we have? Then your level of spirituality will rise. The amount of trust you have for a Sheikh, your level will increase. And the more trust you have, your spirituality will rise. That's the price for patience. If you have patience, of course you can carry more. And you can follow, and with trust you can follow no matter what, without asking any questions. If you are patient, and if the Sheikh says, what is the white wall? And you don't say, this is a black wall, because I see it as white, and maybe I'm maybe I'm colorblind, but if he says this is blue, then it's blue, and if it's black, it's black. Don't say he's just making a joke. And he's painting everything black, but then you have to turn around because your ego asks, where are you with someone who's painting everything black? May Allah give us good understanding, and that will turn into polite, good students full of trust. And there are so many stories, so many pictures. For small children, actually, those pictures were meant to be. And these pictures are pictures of the Grand Sheikh as they were back then, small children, so that they will see what they can understand, what they cannot see. And those where it's important for the images is that they only be needed by small children. That's what it is. And the cat was swallowing the elephant.
صلاة